So in honor of gold potentially reaching maybe 4,000, I don't know. I mean, it's over 3,800 right now. I wanted to show these gold coins that I purchased in depth. I missed a couple of them in the last video I did, and these are the $20 graded Liberties that I bought, the $20 gold. So I want to show each one of them. We're going to talk about pricing, we're going to talk about the market and things like that. So my name is Daniel, and you're watching Coin Help You. Thanks for watching my latest video. If you've seen gold and silver, I mean silver, if it don't hit and break its records, it's never going to do it again. So I firmly believe that it is going to go over the 50 or at least hit 50 in that range. I think it has to hit 49, a little over 49 or almost. It's 49 and some change. Let's put it that way. I can't remember exactly what the record's supposed to be. I know that I think COMEX on the futures has it at 50. So anyway. But now gold, on the other hand, has been breaking its own records over and over and over, and we're going to talk about that in this video. But mostly what we're going to talk about is the gold coins and their values. How are we pricing these? How are coin dealers pricing these gold coins? Because right now it's not the easiest to do, because even with the bull market, there's still not a lot of trust. And when you make $100, maybe $200 on a gold coin, you put $4,000 in or $3,000 in or $3,500. That's not a lot of profit. So you have to be careful, because a $100 swing can happen in the market easily. And if you buy a lot of gold at one time and you still have it, and then you lose that, like I said, you can lose some money on it. But I'm not saying dealers are doing that. I'm speaking for me. I'm a little dealer. I'm a small fry here. So those other dealers, I mean, they sling hundreds of thousands a day sometimes. Some of them do more than that even. But like, APMEX and SD Bullion and JM Bullion, they're moving a lot of money. So anyways, we're going to take a look at these. And while we're doing that, we can look at the metal prices. The high was 47.22. Gold was 38.24. And they're still right there almost. So we'll see what happens. You always got some profit taking, ups and downs. That's normal, typical. This has always been a long-term thing. And people who've stayed in it, back when we talked about staying in it long-term, can reap the rewards now, or wait and see if they can reap some more rewards. We know that a lot of this that's going on has to do with China buying, governments buying. There is some apprehension about the U.S. dollar. A lot of it has to do with the trade wars, the tariffs and things like that. But if you really read on it and don't watch the FOMO and the doom and gloom channels and talking heads, and listen to the financial advisors and economists, the dollar is not being replaced anytime soon. Okay, so I mean, you wouldn't even want that to happen. That's not good for your future, your kids' future, grandkids' future. It's not good for the United States of America at all, for the confidence to be lost in a dollar or for it to be dethroned. I'm telling you, you don't want that. You don't want fiat going to zero. You don't want fiat losing its power, even though it's lost a lot of buying power. I know that. But that's not the point. We want to try to maintain what we have and try to improve it, not hope for it to demise. So anyway, let's take a look at these coins a little bit. And first off, we're going to look at two 78Ss graded 61 by two different companies. And NGC and the grading companies allow for a little bit of a rub and a wear on these coins. It's because they're gold and it's soft. It's going to happen. It doesn't mean it was actually circulated. It could have been rubbed against other coins, which is typical. If you hit another coin with one of these, you're going to put marks on it very easily. And that's what happened here, because at one time these were just $20. That's it. They were just change. 78S, 61. So if you went back to 78 and you could afford a $20 gold piece, you would have spent it. Wouldn't have done a whole lot with it if you could afford it. So 78S's and 61, let's go take a look at the prices here. And I'm over here on Graysheet. And I want to talk about this for a second. I'm not getting paid to do this, but I do like Graysheet. you're going to get the most up-to-date values, even with gold going crazy. It's hard to find the real good price of these coins because of the fact that gold has went up so much. So anyway, if you are interested in having the quarterly, and this is for the Red Book quarterly, $9.99 a month. And every quarter, you can get the web and the app. And if you want the banknote and gray sheet and all that, you can get them over here, $27.99 a month, $34.99 a month. If you want it all, $170. But that's digital and physical. But you can get the most up-to-date pricing doing this. This will, now it's like I said, if gold goes up another 200, it's going to be off. That's what we're going to look at here. So when you're buying these, you look at 61, it's showing $46.50 is the retail price, and $37.23 is the gray sheet, and you got PCGS and NGC wholesales. This is the blue sheet. Blue sheet is sight unseen. Same price. Now when you need to know the melt value, the current melt value, I come over here to NGC. Obviously, you can figure it up with a calculator. But I like to look at all of them at one time, and I can just scroll with my phone or my laptop up front. We're looking at a melt value of $3,699. When you come up here to the gray sheet wholesale, $37.23. There's not a lot of difference. So when you're purchasing these as a dealer, do you want to pay full melt? Or you want to pay gray sheet? Or are you going to pay back a melt? Can you get this out of it? Can I get the $46.50? Sometimes you can. Most of the time you can't. It doesn't mean the premiums are completely gone, but it really makes it difficult to buy when it's showing $46.50 as the retail, and you go on eBay and you see retail all over the place, and you go into the dealer groups and they sell to each other wholesale and they sell cheaper. Sometimes you can get this stuff like this graded stuff, a little at melt, a little bit over, or sometimes even back a melt if you buy enough. Quantity is another thing, and it keeps going up. So when you're pricing, you have to make sure you're being as fair as possible, but also you can't lose money. Now, I know some dealers will hedge, some dealers will do different things to protect themselves, but ultimately, a small dealer, someone bringing in 10 to 20 to 30 of these, you need to be able to move them. So you have to do your pricing accordingly. So anyway, these are earlier dates, which helps. Those were the 78S's, then I've got the 79S's. And one of those is 61. And when we're looking at the pricing of these, and the 61, same price, $47.50. Then we have a 80S extra fine 40, and the pricing on this one is about the same, really, even though it's circulated, but $4,600. Didn't lose a lot of gold extra fine versus mint state. There's not a lot of gold loss. I mean, yeah, if you had 100 of them, you could start noticing a difference. But if you was going to melt them or just go by weight, we're not going by weight here. 81S, mint state 61. It's a nicer 61 there. And a little bit of a proof-like on the reverse. That's another thing. If they're proof-like, they do have a little bit of a premium. But you have to find that person that can afford these coins. Not everybody can afford $4,000 for a coin, or $4,600, or even $3,700. So the 81S in 61 is $48.50, and it actually jumps. I mean, if this coin would actually get 62, because this is an older graded coin, if I get 62 out of it, it jumps to $7,500. But who's paying that? You have to find that person. You have to find that collector, that person that's interested in this particular coin in that particular grade. And it has to look the grade to them, despite what gold's doing. I chose to sell it as it is. You can play around with it. You can go back and forth in your head about it, but bottom line is you got to buy these according to what they are at the moment and what gold is at the moment. 82S, Mint-State 61. It's a really nice coin. Just has some marks on the cheek there. They look a lot better in person than they do in this video, I can tell you. This video is, you're looking at these things extremely large. Seeing a lot of details you wouldn't typically see. So the 82S and 61, 4,800. A little bit better, 38. If a dealer's buying by, gray sheet, they're wanting to be a little bit back of gray sheet on these if they can. If it's a little better, like the 81S, that might go up, you pay more than that. But I don't know, like I said, I've not asked dealers. I just see in the groups what they sell stuff for, to each other, to us. And it's up and down. It's all over. I mean, it's 1883S, Mint-State 62. It's not a bad looking coin there. And what a lot of people don't consider is that it depends also where you're at. What state you're in. Some states are a little more wealthy. Some cities are a little more wealthy. I mean, if you got a dealer in New York and he's in the city there and he's got the clients, people that's got some money. I mean, those people have some money. If you're living there, you have to. 4750. It doesn't mean they're still not living paycheck to paycheck, but some people have some expendable income. They have extra income and they can, afford to buy coins and gold coins. Whereas in my town, I'm not going to have anybody, very few people are going to be able to walk in here and buy these. I did have one person come in and buy a couple of them. There are some, but there's not that many. 95S, Mint-State 62. And these, the ones that are on the website are still for sale. The ones that are not have sold. This one's one of them that has sold. And the 97S is sold, which we're going to look at next. But this is a nice 95. A local person actually bought these. These are the ones that I missed in the video there. And on the 95S in Mint-State 62, it's 4,700. That's the retail, high retail, or at least. If you go over to PCGS, they're going to be off right now, NGC, because they don't update theirs like the gray sheet does. Then we have the 97S, Mint-State 63. It's a really nice coin. Like I said, this is the other one that sold to a local person. It's really nice too. These they look, really, really nice for the grade. It's a 63 there. So over to 97S. And as we can see, the 63 is 4750. So it's like these are just 1 point under where they go for more money. I mean, look at a 65, 16,000. Now, if you are a dealer and someone walks in your shop with that, what are you going to tell them? I mean, you're going to, tell them that it needs to go to auction. We'll just handle it. Or are you going to try to buy it for gray sheet? Or are you going to be like the guy that buys it for the melt, or the gray sheet? I mean, what you're going to do is what I don't want to do. I'm going to go over to Heritage and I'm going to see how much this thing's sold lately. And I'm going to pay a fair price according to that. Or I'm going to just, like I said, I don't typically handle coins and do auction things, but sometimes I will if it depends, though. And we have an 01S, Mint-State 62, old green holder, and it looks on par with the rest of them. It's still a nice coin. But it looks the grade. It doesn't look like it would upgrade or anything like that. And the 01S and 62, probably, even though with the being in that holder is a little more collectible, still yet you're not going to get a lot more out of it. I mean, another 25, 50 bucks maybe. If it looked higher of a grade, maybe. So basically in 62, you're looking at 46.50, 37.13 wholesale. So there's the gold coins that I wanted to show a little better, a little slower, look at them in detail, look at the values, talk about what we pay for them as dealers, what you can expect to buy them for. A lot of these, like I said, I put them on my site less than $4,000, regardless of what that retail says. I'm just not confident. I think I had a couple of maybe a little bit over, maybe right at it, but I'm just not confident that that's the value these are going to go for. And it's one of those things where you might make $100, you might make $200 after credit card fees and the shipping and everything else, because we're paying for most of the shipping. We do insurance, so that's another thing people got to think about whenever you're buying these off our website. When it's all done and said, 100, $150 is what we're probably going to make on these. Sometimes we get, with gold going up since I bought them the last few days, I might make another 100 or $50, which is good. It helps out, but it's not always the case. A lot of times gold will drop on you when you buy some. Sometimes it seems like, and that's Murphy's Law, what can happen will happen, or whatever it is, that you buy a bunch of it and it seems to drop on you. Same with silver, but this time did really well. I bought a lot of stuff last week, like I showed in that video, and I bought a lot of bullion too, and it's went up, so it's helped me out a little bit. I don't have to worry. There is some stress involved in this business, and that's how it works. I don't lose sleep over it. It's not like that, but you still have to be concerned. But anyways, thanks for watching my latest video. Please like, share, and comment, and have a great day.